Welcome to the Just Being Petty Show. I am A.W. Petty, your host. So I want to kind of go over what Trump said to Iran in terms of the whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. Those are words of a madman, of a wannabe dictator. That's what they are. That is totally unacceptable. And people wonder why everybody hates America because of things like that. It makes no sense to me. It's not just politics, it's conditioning. That's what has happened. We've been conditioned. In this Trump era, we've been conditioned. The media says nothing about it. They go along with the program, and that's what happens. Whether it's just the changing of the times or lack of morals and decency, I don't know. But I don't believe those things are important anymore to some people. And I don't ever think they were important to Trump. But for the overall picture, I believe it's about money and power. That's what I believe. The media, left and right, as they keep repeating things, and the more you hear it, the less shocked you are. And then let's not forget about ratings. All of these media companies, they want ratings. That's what they do. The more craziness you give out there, the more people will look at it. Because I haven't seen anybody getting burned out in this Trump era. Because they don't want to lose their audience. They don't want to lose their audience, so they're going to feed them what they know they like and what they know they will react to. And then you have the other ones trying to balance the sides instead of calling things like they are and telling the truth. And in the meantime, the people are becoming immune to it. And we get used to it. Normalization over time. From the first time low IQ walked down the elevator in 2015, everything changed. Morals and decency were out the window. And it's been that way ever since. And of course, it's gotten worse in 2026. What was outrageous in 2016 is normal in 2026. And that's due to Trump because he drives clicks, views, and engagement, which equals money. So coverage often focuses on amplifying rather than deeply interrogating. And you can see that with Trump. He says crazy shit and the media jumps on it right away. They do. They jump on it right away. It's crazy. Outlets tailor tones to the audience. Left-leaning media may frame statements as alarming, but they still cover it. So it doesn't matter. I can never understand why MSNBC would cover his bullshit knowing that it's a lie. It just never made sense to me. Right-leaning media, they downplay and reinterpret it, or they defend it. In my opinion, they just lie. They just lie about it flat out. It's flat. It's flat out lies. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They flat out lie. Everybody that's in Trump's circle, in terms of Caroline Levitt and Fox News and all these other right-leaning podcasts, they lie about everything as it pertains to Trump. And then there's the framing by each side to their audience to make it seem normal. But it's not. If you just tell the truth, people will get it. I believe most people can do critical thinking, but many outlets try to avoid appearing biased. And I'm not so sure I agree with that because the Republicans, at least in the Trump era, they are biased, flat out, no question. But they talked all that BS about Biden when he was in office about being biased. But as soon as they retained power, they being the Republican, they were not trying to hide anything. They were straight biased, period, full stop. People tune out when there's constant controversy. Medias adjust by reducing intensity of coverage unless something is newly shocking. Well, everything with Trump is shocking. So that's that. Some reporters avoid harsh framing to maintain access to political figures and insiders. Softer language keeps doors open. And we saw that with Trump in his first term. They had to go to court because he kicked out Acosta, I think, and he had to go to court to get back in the press room. But that's Trump's thing. He'll kick them out if he doesn't like them. He'll tell them to get out. And what he has now is just right-leaning media and a lot of right-leaning podcasters that he talks to in the press room. Media companies also avoid strong claims that can trigger defamation, which I understand because he sued everybody. And a lot of these cowardly companies, they bent the knee. They bent the knee and they paid this guy. It blows my mind because here's the deal. He's not going to be in office forever. So when you get a Democrat in, what are you going to do then? What are you going to do? If I was a Democrat president and I had the House and the Senate, it would be hell to pay for all these companies that bent the knee and did what Trump wanted them to do instead of thinking independently. Modern coverage often prioritizes quick clips and reactions over deep breakdowns. The format naturally flattens the significance of what's being said. But all of these media companies are in the same boat here. This modern coverage, they're in the same boat, even left-leaning, right-leaning. This guy has frightened them so much that they're afraid to actually cover the news honestly. Left-leaning, right-leaning, we know they're going to do that. But the left-leaning, they're scared to death. But I have to say, he's trying to buy up all these left-leaning media companies, not him himself, but his rich oligarch Republican friends. They want every media to be right-leaning. They've already got CBS. They have Fox. I think they're getting CNN. They have Twitter. So all they need is MS, ABC. That's two. So, and then he could say and do what he wants to without any backlash. But here's the deal. Platforms like X and YouTube, they reward speed and virality over depth. The legacy media, they have to follow to keep pace, to stay relevant. So, in closing, we have a situation here that's totally out of control. No other president would have done what this guy did. This guy has went against all rulings from judges and from courts. I mean, people have taken him to court, but he has no regard for anything in the Constitution. The only thing that he cares about is him. I don't even think he cares about his family. He only cares about him. He's a selfish, evil man, in my opinion. And I pray to God that a Democrat gets in office and they put laws in place that this can never happen again. But I hope they do it right when they get in. Don't wait for 2 years when you may not be reelected like Garland did. Because if Garland had have done what he was supposed to do right off the back, this guy probably would not have been reelected. And the country, you and I, would not feel the way we feel about this country and how it's being ran. And I just want to kind of clear this up. My position on things when it comes to politics, it's clear. It's right and wrong. It's not red and blue, it's right and wrong. It just so happens that Trump being in office and the Republicans holding the House and the Senate and all of this stuff they've done to try to cover Trump, that's all wrong. That's wrong to me. If a Democrat does something wrong, and I'm speaking for other Democrats, we don't play around. We're not going to cover you. We're not going to try to hide the truth. You will be responsible for your actions. But the thing I'll say about that is, in this time, in this Trump era, until we get control of the White House, the Senate, and the House, they have to fight like Trump. They have to be dirty. That's the only way we can make changes. To fight dirty, get in the position you need to be in, and then change things, change laws, and also figure out what we're going to do with the Supreme Court. Because they're crooked. They're just as crooked as Trump. Eileen Cannon, on one of the lower courts in Florida. She's crooked. Pam Bondi was crooked. Cash Patel crooked. Hegseth crooked. Noam crooked. They're all crooked. And they robbed this country blind. We don't know the damage until he's gone and somebody can go over the books and see how much money these people have stolen. So check out the full episode 5 on YouTube at the Just Being Petty Show. Please make sure you like and subscribe and help me build this channel. It means the world to me. And I will see you up the road.